Hey everyone, welcome back. Deanna here with UC Woods out of Springfield, Missouri. Today what we're going to be doing is top coating our epoxy river table with the new BallistiX Counterattack product. So I actually did a final flood coat on this table yesterday, and so I've got my materials here and this is what we're going to do. First and foremost, you need your Counterattack. Now this is the new product. As far as I know, only a few distributors in the US have it. We are one of them. If you need it, let us know. It comes in quarts, which is this size, as well as gallons. If you obviously don't use it all at one time, that is perfectly fine. You can keep it once it's open. As far as its pot life goes, it does not have to be kept in the fridge. Just keep it in a cool, dark area. As long as it's liquid, it's good to use. You need a really fine nozzle sprayer. You're gonna need some staining pads. These are just from Home Depot or Lowe's. They were a couple bucks for a pack of 4. It's called a staining pad, sponge with terry cloth cover. You need a little container that you can dip that in. I have taken it upon myself to recycle a Tupperware container and label it so that we no longer use it for food. Even though Counterattack is food safe, I don't wanna feed it to my kids, neither do you. Now, because we poured the epoxy final top coat yesterday, it is dry to the touch. This is our own fast set, so it was actually dry yesterday, about 3 hours after I poured it. We are going to buff this out with ISO and just a microfiber pad. The reason we do this is because this epoxy and most all epoxies are still chemically curing after the first 24 hours. In a lot of places, if you're putting this down over a floor or if you're gonna do a table or a different project, if you wanna get back in on that floor or project the day after you pour your epoxy or different substrate, a lot of times what you're gonna get is fish eyes and dimples all over your project after you apply BallistiX. If you do not stunt the off-gassing process, the way you do that is by buffing. So I've just got that microfiber pad on this. We're gonna buff with some ISO, and we're just gonna buff for a few minutes, kind of give that off-gassing process a break. Go ahead and stunt it. It's very important that you get on it with the Counterattack immediately after. Don't go to lunch, don't go to the bathroom, don't wait till the next day if you're doing a floor. Go ahead and get right back on it as soon as that ISO is dry. And here we go. Now that I've got that buffed, I'm actually gonna get these this table up on some risers really quick, just so our product doesn't get stuck between the table and my plastic. What I'm gonna do is go lengthwise, because that's our line of sight. So what I've got, I just got my pad sticking in here. You can kind of see where it's wet, where it's not wet. You don't have to submerge the whole thing. Just gonna give this some time to kind of drip dry out of there, make sure it's nice and even. And with my short, tiny T-Rex arms, I'm gonna try to reach across this entire table, which needs to be closer to me. So I'm not putting any pressure on this whatsoever. Just kind of pulling it across, making sure that my sponge that I'm using stays saturated. In case you're curious, it's so clear, it's really hard to see my lines over clear epoxy. I would suggest maybe a spotter to just kind of see where you went last time, so you're not overlapping probably as much as what I'm currently overlapping. I'm just gonna take a quick stroke across the sides. Okay, now that I'm done with that, what I'm gonna do is actually overspray it just a little with that really fine sprayer. And what that's gonna do is help me level out any potential lap lines that I created for myself. And again, you want to use a really fine mister, nice and high. And then use your light to see anything, any imperfections, anything you might have missed. And then what I'm gonna do, just because I'm an epoxy person and this is a small enough substrate that I'm gonna hit it real quick with my heat gun, just to see how that helps it level out. I would do the same thing with countertops as well. right. It's about 2:30. That entire process maybe took me about 20 minutes. Let's see what I can see. So far, using the light, from what I can see, everything looks really good. Pretty excited about that, actually. All right, well, I think I'm just gonna let it set up and see how it comes out. We'll check back in a few hours and see what it looks like.